A 30-second pitch is the technique of persuading somebody in a limited amount of time that you are the most important person they'll meet today. It must be concise and well crafted so that you leave the other side with some answers, but with some questions about yourself as well. 3 important questions must be answered. Who are you? What do you do? And where are you going? I am Nikki, and I'm going to help you understand the basics of a 30-second pitch, plus some examples. I said I was going to give you some examples, but if you listened carefully, you should have noticed that the introduction of this video was exactly an example of a 30-second pitch. It's all about selling yourself, but not literally of course, to the other person. You may have limited amount of time, hence the notion of 30 seconds, but you really want to leave a good impression to the person you're talking with. Maybe he's your future employer, or perhaps a new business partner. Either way, presenting yourself properly is one of the biggest challenges when establishing new connections. If all goes well, you should have piqued the interest of the other side and perhaps extend the 30 seconds limitation and continue the conversation. But how exactly does one achieve that? When crafting your speech, you are not only looking to tell a person about yourself, but to sell yourself to that other person and make them want to get to know you better. Also, keep a close lookout at the body language of the other side, noticing their expressions and knowing if they feel uncomfortable or just talking to you out of humbleness is very important in knowing whether to continue or not. As a rough estimate, 30 seconds are considered the best time frame to capture someone's attention and present them with the needed information. Research verifies that most people form a lasting impression in as little as 3 seconds, and the average attention span starts to wane after 15 to 20 seconds. To be honest, 30 seconds is the best time frame to make your point, or you may have missed your opportunity. Don't forget to answer the 3 most important questions we mentioned. Who are you? What do you do? Where are you going? Try to limit the information and present it in a story, not in a straightforward facts. This way it is easier for both sides. Next, we are going to examine a sales pitch from Steve Jobs about the release of the new iPad. We are going to comment on what he did wrong.
Good morning, and thank you all for coming today. We want to kick off 2010 by introducing a truly magical and revolutionary product today. We call it the iPad.
I'm up.
First of all, we see that Mr. Jobs is not presenting his information in the correct order. He is immediately starting with where he's going, but not focusing enough on presenting himself or his company. Secondly, he isn't talking quickly enough and not presenting almost any useful information in the first 15 seconds of his pitch. As we described earlier, the first few seconds are the most crucial ones, and his audience has lost their attention or interest by now.
It's a first setback, but will retail expert Theo Paphitis disagree with his rival investor?
The novelty factor will wear out. The software you've developed is okay-ish, and various types of that software already exist. So for those reasons, I'm out.
Deborah Meaden is now ready to have her say.
Okay, listen, I'm going to do, I don't know, I'm going to make my mind up. I could sit here and toss a coin and decide which way to go, to be perfectly honest. But I've got to make my mind up.
Already 2 of his investors are out. As the third one starts speaking, she gives him a hint that she still has to make up her mind, and then immediately stops talking and starts awaiting some intriguing answer. However, Mr. Jobs is silent for a relatively long period of time, after which he starts talking about past endeavors and just saying, "It's amazing."
A few weeks ago we announced...
No, don't say anything.
It's amazing.
If I were you, I'd be quiet. I'm out.
At which point, his third investor doesn't even want to hear from him anymore, simply saying, "It's amazing," is very wrong in my opinion. This is the thought that should come to his investor's head by hearing what he has to say, and not by him actually saying it. His approach is definitely wrong, and his timings are extremely off. If he was starting to speak as quickly as he stopped speaking when he's been interrupted, he would have been in a bit of a better spot. Changing his word usage to something that compares the iPod to a laptop or another device, and hinting that it is the best of both worlds, would have reaped enormous benefits for him. Time for the next investor's opinion.
You did a fantastic presentation. Bingo, I got it. And I thought that that box was amazing. But I think you would be very difficult to work with. So, regrettably, I'm going to say I'm out.
Judging by his recent speech with the other investors, he decides that he doesn't want to work with someone who is incapable of presenting his product in a proper manner and whose social skills may lack a bit. The next investor's response has a secret message. Mr. Jobs' lack of social skills but great innovative mind make him an ideal candidate for online interaction and sales, but not so much for presenting his products in front of an audience.
I think I bring too much to the party. So if there comes a time when you want to work for an organisation in the online space that is worldwide, send me an email.
With this, Steve Jobs' great new product gets zero investments because of his pitch, which was awfully constructed and poorly executed, which goes to show the extreme importance of learning how to do that well. I hope you have learned a little bit about crafting and executing your 30-second speech properly. I am Nikki and thanks for watching.